Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're gonna cover the topic that we have on Unit 8 in Advanced 2, which is past perfect. Okay, just keep this in mind. Past perfect is a perfect verb tense. I know it sounds kind of a little bit redundant, but keep this in mind. Past perfect is the past version of present perfect tense. This is a topic that we have covered previously, so we're gonna keep on focus just trying to remember the structure that we learned in present perfect tense just to um, just to assimilate past perfect because they work a little bit similar. Okay, first, how does it work? What is the structure that we have to expect in past perfect? Okay, we use had, which is the past of the auxiliary have or has. In present perfect tense, we use have or has as an auxiliary. In past perfect, we use had instead, plus the past participle. Okay? If you see, it's exactly the same structure that we had. And this specific verb tense, when we are talking and when we are describing situations, it's commonly used with simple past. Okay, let's see an example of a sentence using past perfect just for you to know how do we use the auxiliary had plus the past participle. This one, we say, I had finished. I had finished. If you see, I am using had as an auxiliary. The past version of have or has, in this case had, is the only one that we have to use. Plus finished, which is the past participle of the verb finished. Okay, I had finished. Okay, that's it. Auxiliary plus past participle. When she arrived to the house. This is the sentence in simple past. This is the sentence in simple past. Past perfect is usually referred as the past of a past action. I will explain you this in a few moments. How does it work in a timeline? It works in this way. Okay, we say, when she arrived, this is the moment in the past when she arrived. But previously that action, I had finished. So we use past perfect to talk about actions in English that happened prior another moment in the past. This is the moment in the past when she arrived, but previously that one I had finished. So past perfect is also known as the past of the past. And as well as you see, this is created use had as an auxiliary plus past participle. This is the same version that we were doing with present perfect, but instead of have or has, we are using had. And this is usually common to talk about the past of the past. If you see, they are usually used combined to give a context of the action that we are mentioning. Okay guys, let's gonna see a few examples of this structure just for you to see how do they work. Okay, we have, she had left when I called. If you see, I have had again as the auxiliary is the only auxiliary that we're gonna use in past perfect. So that makes it easier than present perfect tense. We only use had. She had left, so that happened before the moment when I called. She had left when I called. I called, but before she had left. He had written the message before she told him. So she had written the message. That's something that he did before the moment that she told him. If you see guys, I am using all of them are past participle. If you don't know verbs in past participle, you have to start to study now, right? This is an important part of your vocabulary. Past participle verbs are mandatory. I had already sent the message when you arrived. If you see, I am using already. Remember, already, yet, um, also since and for. These are um, expressions or time expressions that they're usually used in perfect tenses. That's the reason why I am using already. I had already sent. Again, past participle. Okay? If you notice, I am using exactly the same structures. The only thing is just to remember when do I have to use them. Okay? Okay, now just to continue a little bit about structures. Okay? Remember, had is an auxiliary. So as any other auxiliary, we can contract this one too. So instead of to say I had, because to say I had is unusual in English. Actually, contractions, they must be used all the time. When you have the chance to use a contraction, you have to use it. So you say I had, but instead of to say that, it's more common to say I'd. You had, you'd. He had, he'd. She had, she'd. It had, it'd. We had, we'd. And they had, they'd. So try to get used to contractions, because in English this is the common way to speak in English. If you don't use contractions, you will sound a little bit like a robot. So that's a little bit strange. So try to get used to contractions. And as well as I told you, had is an auxiliary. That means that we don't require any other auxiliary or something extra if we want to make negative sentences. So we say, she had finished when I arrived. She hadn't finished when I arrived. Okay? So I don't need anything extra. The only thing that you have to use is use had as the auxiliary that it is. So she had, she hadn't, in negative. This is the only thing that you need to know about this specific auxiliary. Okay guys, remember had is an auxiliary, so keep that in mind. So as any other auxiliary, what happens if I want to make a question? We do with auxiliaries what auxiliaries always do. So I say, she had finished when I arrived, as a question. Had she finished when you arrived? So the only thing that you have to do is move the auxiliary at the beginning, as usual. That's what we do in past perfect tense. My apologies. In past perfect tense. This is the past version of present perfect tense. So if you master present perfect tense, you will not have any problem with past perfect. Thank you very much, guys, and have a nice day.